Hello, welcome. Today's class will be focused on finding balance for beginners. We will be working on some basic beginner balancing poses while also finding the balance and stillness within our mind that helps us become more stable in the balancing poses. Let's find a comfortable cross-legged seat on the ground. Allow your eyes to fall shut and let your hands rest at the tops of your knees. Become aware of your breathing pattern at the moment. No need to try to control it or change it. Blink your eyes open, and on your inhale, come into a tabletop position, bringing your wrists directly under your shoulders and your knees directly under your hips. Engage your core and find some balance here in tabletop, spreading your fingers as wide as they can go, pressing into all of the knuckles. Inhale to lift the gaze, open the heart. Exhale, push into your hands to round the spine, finding some fluid movement in the spine, taking some cat and cows, following your own breath. Inhaling to lift your gaze, open the heart. Exhale, round the spine, moving with your breath. Come back to a flat back, that tabletop, and extend your left leg out behind you and your right arm out in front of you. Squeeze your core. On an exhale, bring your knee to your elbow. Inhale, lengthen out. Exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale, lengthen, engage. Exhale, knee to elbow. You can bring it back down to the ground and we'll switch sides, straightening the right leg out behind you and the left leg out or left arm out in front of you. Exhale, knee to elbow. Round the spine, tuck the chin. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale, lengthen. And one more time, knee to elbow. You can drop it back down to the ground. Sit back on your heels and then come up into a kneeling position, bringing your hands to your hips. Step your left leg towards the top of your mat and shift your hips forwards into a low lunge. You can stay here or inhale your arms up overhead, looking towards the ceiling. Option to interlace your fingers behind your head to open up the shoulders and the heart space a little bit more. Deep inhale and deep exhale. Release your hands to the ground, framing your left foot. Straighten your left leg, digging your heel into the ground for a half split. Inhale, shift forward into low lunge. Exhale, shift back, half split. Inhale, shift forwards, low lunge. Stay here and bring both of your hands to the inside of your left leg, rolling your left foot onto the outer edge for a lizard lunge. You can keep your back leg lifted off the ground and stay up on your palms, or you can drop the back knee and come onto your forearms. Wherever you are, drop the back knee and bring your left hand to the inside of your left knee, twisting your heart space towards the ceiling and pressing that knee outwards just a little bit deeper. Bring your hands back down to the ground to lift yourself up and shift your left foot in between your hands. Shift your hips back like you're going into a half split, but slowly sit back all the way down on your right heel. Keeping the left leg straight and flexed, inhale your arms up overhead and fold over your knees as far as is comfortable for you. It is totally okay to keep the left knee generously bent. Squeeze your glutes to lift yourself up. Bring your hands to your hips and bring the left knee back to meet the right. In our kneeling position here, bring the right leg out in front of you for a low lunge, making sure your knee is directly over your ankle. Inhale, lift your arms up overhead, or option to bind your fingers behind the back of your neck to open up your heart space. Use your exhale to find some ease in this pose. Release your hands to the ground, framing your right foot. Shift your hips back in space for half split. Inhale, shift forward, low lunge. Exhale, half split. Inhale, low lunge. Following your breath, keep this going a few more times. Next time you come into low lunge, we'll find our lizard pose, bringing both hands to the inside of our right foot, letting the right knee fall open. And find whatever variation feels good for you, whether that's knee dropped and you're up on your hands, or your left knee is lifted and engaged. Wherever you are, find some deep breaths. Drop the left knee to the ground. Bring the right hand to the inside of the right knee, twisting open. Bring both hands to the ground to lift yourself up and shift the right foot in between your hands and push back like you're going into half split, but come back to sit all the way on your heels. Again, a generously bent leg is recommended here. Inhale, lift your arms up overhead to find some length within the spine, and then exhale, fold forward. Use your glute strength to lift yourself up. Come back into our kneeling position. Come into Yogi squat, and if you want to challenge yourself a little, try to get there without bringing your hands to the ground. Bring your hands to a prayer position, using your elbows to press your knees open a little bit and maybe rock from side to side. Bring your hands to the ground and heel toe your toes into hip width distance apart, and then fold over your knees, maybe grabbing opposite elbows, keeping a generous bend in the knees. Inhale, halfway lift, bringing your hands to your shins. Exhale, fold forwards. Keeping your hands on the backs of your legs, slowly roll yourself all the way up into standing in Tadasana, your feet hip width apart. Shift your weight from foot to foot, maybe find some movement in the arms, whatever feels good for you here. And then make your way to the top of your mat. Take a little bounce, finding some buoyancy and stability in your knees. On your inhale, lift your right leg, your right heel towards your glute. Exhale, step it all the way back to the back edge of your mat. Bend into the left leg, coming into a high lunge. And you can keep your hands on your hips or inhale them up overhead. On your exhale, straighten your left leg, hinge at the hips, bringing the crown of your head towards the front of the room. Send your hands behind you by your side, palms facing down. Inhale, bend into the knee, lift up. Exhale, hinge at the hips. Inhale, come all the way up to high lunge. pivot on the right foot, making it parallel with the short edge of your mat, and extend your arms out into Warrior 2. Inhale, straighten the left leg, lift your arms up overhead. Exhale, bend into the knee, Warrior 2. Inhale, lift up, straighten the leg. Exhale, Warrior 2. Straighten both your legs, bring your hands to your hips and shift your hips back in space. Extend your arms, bringing your left hand to your shin. Right arm goes up overhead for triangle pose. Lift yourself back up and pivot on the right foot, coming back into a high lunge position. Shift your weight onto your left leg and start to hinge forward, and maybe the right foot comes off the mat, coming into Warrior 3. Keep the left leg engaged and the right foot flexed. Bring your hands to heart center, or maybe out beside you like an airplane to help with your balance. Bring your hands to heart center, slowly come up, shift your weight from leg to leg, maybe bending into one knee and then the other. And we'll go ahead and do the same thing on the other side, lifting the left heel towards the glute, and step it back into high lunge, bending into the right knee. Inhale your arms up overhead. Exhale, hinge forward, straightening the right leg, hands go behind you. Inhale, high lunge. Exhale, hinge forwards. Inhale, reach towards the sky. Exhale, hinge forwards. Inhale, high lunge. And on your exhale, pivot on the back foot. Come into Warrior 2. Inhale, keep that motion going. Straighten the right leg, lift up. Exhale, Warrior 2. Straighten both legs, bring your hands to your hips to shift your hips back in space. Extend your arms, come into triangle pose, bringing your right hand to your shin, left arm extends towards the sky. Inhale, lift yourself back up, bring your hands to your hips, and we'll shift our way into Warrior 3 on the other side, coming into high lunge first, and then starting to shift your weight into the right leg. Hinge forward, keeping both the legs active, and maybe letting the left leg come off the ground, trying to create a straight line with your body. If you fall out of it, that's okay. Find a drishti or a focal point, maybe a spot on the ground, something that is not moving to focus on and help you find your balance. Bring your hands to heart center, slowly come up, shake it out, bend into one knee and then the other. We're going to try out one more balancing pose, tree pose. You might be familiar with this one. Bring your feet hip width apart and shift your weight onto your left leg. Face the right knee outward, bringing your heel to your left ankle, and maybe you stay here. Or maybe you slide your right foot up the left leg onto your shin. Maybe you stay here. Or one more option is to bring your foot to the inner thigh above your knee. And you can definitely use your hands to help your foot get there. Sometimes our hip mobility doesn't allow us to bring your foot all the way up by itself. Find your drishti, maybe you cactus your arms. Bring your hands to your hips, plant the right leg back on the ground, maybe shake it out a little, and we'll switch to the other side, shifting our weight onto the right leg. Left heel to the right ankle, point the knee outwards, and slowly slide your foot up wherever feels good for you. Find your drishti. Use your breath as an anchor to balance yourself and your mind. Bring your hands to your hips and plant the right foot back on the ground. Shift your weight from one leg to the other. Release your hands by your side and take a sway, twisting from side to side. Come into a wide-legged stance. Keep your hands on your hips as you slowly start to hinge forward at the hips, folding forward. Maybe bringing your hands to the ground, maybe walking the hands behind you, trying to reach the top of your head to the ground. Option to bend into one knee and then the other. Bring your hands back to your hips and start to lift yourself all the way back up into standing. Step towards the top of your mat. Inhale your arms up overhead. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, and make your way onto your back. Hug your knees in towards your chest. Maybe rock from side to side, massaging your low back. Bring your knees towards your armpits, grabbing onto the outer edges of your feet, or using your peace fingers to grab onto your big toe. Maybe you keep that rocking motion or you find some stillness here. Extend your feet out and come into Savasana, letting your whole body relax. Let your hands rest by your sides with your palms facing open. Take a deep inhale, filling your whole body with oxygen. And on your exhale, release any tension and anything no longer serving you. Start to wiggle your fingertips and your toes. Hug your knees in towards your chest and wrap your arms around your knees, giving yourself a big hug. Send some love and gratitude for yourself for doing this practice today. And when you're ready, rock or push yourself up into a seated position. Take a few deep, cleansing breaths. Inhale through your nose, exhale out your mouth. The light in me honors and sees the light in you. Namaste. Let's start a conversation in the comments about how these balancing poses felt today. And if you'd like to support this channel, leave a like and subscribe and turn on the bell so you get notified next week when I post a video.